Hi, this is Jeff Arcus. Hope so everyone is okay. A bit sleepy, just wake up. It's very hot here in Australia at the moment. We have very high temperatures, and yes, my afternoon nap finished. Wake up at the moment, and yeah. So today is Monday again, another weekend. I could not done a video last week, but I'm just gonna show quickly the results following the weekly candle close. What would it be? And see the what was in place in big quickly for this week as well. All right, so that's the timing. and so last week it was the beginning, the 21st of February, and New Zealand was one of the strongest currencies on the weekly scenario. So we're looking at those. So the New Zealand Canadian, as I said, I don't try, but I'm looking the Euro New Zealand, which was in there. So that's last week. This is where the line it is last week in the three time frames. So I'm looking the Euro New Zealand there, and there we are. So it looks like it went for a little bit of sideways. We did not have a strong pullback, but maybe it was very very strong. I always prefer a pullback, but amid the 12 hours, 10 hours, which is London time, is where the decision, if it is not pullback, it's a consolidation. So if we're looking from here, 10 hours to 10 hours is 24 hours. So it's a date of consolidation if we look in the 12 hours bar. And yeah, so that was, quite nice result as well. Then the next one was the New Zealand US. So put them back where is the beginning of the week. Looking here, New Zealand US. And so that's the New Zealand US, the beginning of the week. The weekly is strong. We did have the sort of kind of pullback, sort of, you know, not really a pullback, but a consolidation. The market enters over there and take us out of here. So it was a small profit, still, a good thing to look. What is the New Zealand? This is the New Zealand. No, that's Australia. Sorry, this is the New Zealand here. So we're looking there, and then we look in the New Zealand yen. Um, so the weekly is up. We go there, and then the following day, which normally what I like it, is the pullback. So up, down, and ready to trade. Market enters over here, and again, if you have profit established, would it be better? That's how trade sometimes it is. Nothing more happened. Now we go to New Zealand, and then New Zealand yen. So then we look at the pound with number 5 compared to 58. So uh, we're looking at that again. So the weekly it was telling us that, and then we see the following date it was not going nowhere, which I confirm a consolidation or pullback. And from that, that's 120 pips. If we would hold the whole week, 200 something there. But I think I finished somewhere over here. I'm happy with some pips at the end of the day, even if I don't get anything, everything there. So very straightforward. New Zealand Swiss, we say we don't look in, and Australia, New Zealand, Buddha. Now, as we're looking, if we pick the Australia, New Zealand, you see, without this table, really, I'm lost in trading because, you can find a good setup, and actually, I did have find a technical setup over here of this break, so I managed to close, but look what it did, absolutely nothing. And the simplicity of this is because these two were on the same strength. I always in my presentations on introductions forex, I used to say to people, if my tags don't fight with me, next week where you're gonna put your money. You can recognize the strong versus the weak. I believe this is the cutting edge for my trading. Without that, if I just look for indicators or look price action or look volume or whatever you want to be looking, good luck. But yeah, this without this, really, I have no hope to do. So the second one on that one there was the Canadian was weak. Now remember I mentioned to you last week when the New Zealand and Australian are strong, Canadian should be strong because it's a commodity currency. So and I was a bit hesitant about looking for trade with the Canadian, but we're gonna continue looking anyway. So that's the Canadian. If we cannot trade New Zealand, Australian, Canadian. So if I looking pound Canadian, not Canadian Swiss either. So when I look in the pound Canadian on here, that was the that was the result in there. So if Canadian is weak and the pound is supposed to be strong, it should be going up. But look, you really buying at the top of this is so this is when you see already why have the power to say now this is no what I'm looking for. So therefore, just forget about it. So that's what the then we look in the Australia and the Australia, so that's the Australia currency. Um, and then Euro Australia, it was one of those to look at over here. And there we are. Now we said I always waiting for a pullback. The pullback never happened. So when the market was just continuing that direction, honestly, I did miss here because my rules is to wait for the pullback. And the market was, until now has continued going with 200 pips, but that's okay. Rules are rules, and the only thing I do is, follow up over here. So Australia is there, Australia, US. There we are. So Australia, we got that. We got here. Beautiful consolidation. Market goes over here, break even. It went as far as 60 pips, and nothing has happened. So the week was, some currencies did work okay, other ones don't, but that's all right. Australia, US, Australian yen will be the next one to look. And there it is, the sloppy pullback, which I love it that when it's like that, market enters here, by that 90 pips, I'm already break even by the end of it. So didn't make money, didn't lose money, but I still, the strategy works very, very okay. And then I will not be looking pound Australia or Australian Swiss. I don't trade anyway. So then we look in the euro, and the euro is in the top. So, oh no, sorry, here. So the euro has a weak scenario. So when I'm looking the euro, you don't try the euro Swiss, the euro pound. As I said, I don't look much, but that was the only one it was telling me over here to look at it. And that's the euro pound. It was the euro negative, the pound. So we're looking for the pullback. That's the pullback. And I didn't actually mess up with these currencies. It's very messy euro pound normally. Um, but you know, so here is 6 pips. So I normally like 10 pips from the break, and then it didn't go anywhere over there. All right, so that's finished that previous week results. So whatever is had happened, and just like now, let's do the quickly review of this week. So this week we're looking over there. The pound is very weak, so I'm looking for the pound group, which is right there. So the pound, so that's 28th of February, which is today, and so I'm highlighted this one. So all cloning over there. So the first currency we're gonna be looking pound Australian, pound New Zealand, and pound Canadian. Really is the commodities, as I said last week, when one of these are not in sync with the other ones, be careful. Yeah, all right. Commodity currencies normally work together, and now they are lined up perfectly this week. So the pound commodities. So let's look at pound Australia, and pound Australia. So there we are, huge. It's been we already got some trades from this one, um, and yeah. So at the moment, this is continuation. Still few rooms to go to here. So still some pips, 320 pips. So this pulling up at the moment, and we'll see it tomorrow, hopefully. But I already got a setup. I will be looking later tonight before the American market open. Um, if the market comes back to these levels, I think it already has. I have a different tool that I call that. Um, that I call. This is one of my other EAs that I'm setting. I have. I have two and three actually. Sorry, and this one I have set up. This is the Trendline Trader, Jeff Arcos, and I'm set up. So what I have in this EA, and the other ones is just normal indicators that there. So I'm looking for the market to pull this area before, and that's my stop loss. So and then I I will be looking to shorten. You see, indicators are very fancy. Who knows when it is without this tell you nothing means. I'm not impressed by indicators. So pound Australia, we got that one. We got pound Canadian over here. Again, is pulling up. Beautiful setup that it is, and yeah, we can see many different ways. The market has a nice level of support or resistance. There was a support, now resistance twice. The market breaks from here, and the market come back to that 350 pips perfectly, and that's it is. So it's pulling up today. So normally waiting one day. Sometimes, as I say, I'm just a person that after the experience, I not recommended to trace the pullbacks there is, but I do as my experience allows. So here I was waiting for the market when I started the market this morning to pull back to this level. So it has pulled back, sell touch changed from sell 10 now. So that's mean if the market breaks below to this level, it will get the 10 pips that my stop loss, and that's it. So because of what I see, the market is coming back to here. All right. So this is a bit aggressive way of trading without waiting the pullback of that. Sometimes I get caught up with that, but sometimes it's better to wait for the whole day, 24 hours for the market to pull back. As I say, experience is teaching you many things as you continue, but that's what it is. All right, pound New Zealand, we say. Um, and that it is. So pound New Zealand was another one has come up, and now if we're looking carefully, this is the 1 hour, one in the 4 hours. So that it is. So pound New Zealand has actually come back to levels like very nice pullback already to here, and yeah, so if we're looking over there, if I look at 12 hours, otherwise this will be an entry, beautiful entry set up from there. But we got a lot to look over here. So if I set up a line over there, what is this telling me over here? So beautiful levels. The market has memory, and definitely this could be a nice drawdown of 970 pips, 1000 pips there. So keep an eye with that. So with this one already got in as the market. No, sorry, it's still into um, the market went through. Now, once what this tool does is when I put a sell touch, this means the market comes to a level of support or resistance, touch the levels, and then it changed to sell tamed. So I'll show you a little bit of my. I haven't showed before my DCA, but that's where I have my function. So I have sell touch. So once the market pulls back to the levels of resistance or support, the function changed to sell 10. So now it has to be 10 pips below, and then it will be triggered. Like I said, this is a very aggressive way of trading, uh, and otherwise, a breakout of any line will do from that moment on. So there it is. So that could look promising. So as I'm not aiming at 1,000 pips, as long as I can do, a few pips around, I would be very happy. But there's definitely we have 3 weeks in a row with that one, and last week as well I did well with this one. So we'll see what this week is promising over there, and it's very 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 strong. So after that, maybe the pound US would be another one to consider. Stays the very, very, very strong there. So, so yeah. So I haven't actually yet looking for the pound US. Don't like the reverse of that week. So um, that's the daily on Friday. I don't really trust this one at the moment, but like I think I got enough with this one over there. But I keep an eye to see the reaction of tonight, and then I will make euro pound, no euro pound, sorry, pound yen. It will be. It looks like pound yen. It isn't a good setup, and now even look at that. So pound US and pound yen. I'm not convinced with the wick of that candle. It shows me over there. All right, so if we're going to the Australian now, would be here. So Australian is very strong. So Australian Swiss not looking. Australian yen maybe. Um, Now there it is. So very very strong. It's been a bit conflicted. It hasn't been a real, you know, don't like it really. What I see here is very messy. Um, Now we did have a gap between it. So when you see like that, why to bother, So that's all I say. I'll continue looking, the strength of the week. Normally as well, I always like to follow Europe and Australia, New Zealand together on the same strength. So when this one is weak and this one is strong, something could be going wrong. So I'm gonna keep a little bit away from it. Now Euro Australia is another one that we have over here. So this one, it looks that we need a pullback before you consider to enter for that one. And Australia US is the other one. Um, and yeah, so it's very messy. Australian UN, Australian US are, you know, it's too complicated for me there. So I stayed away from that one there. Then we got the New Zealand over here. So New Zealand yen, Euro New Zealand, and New Zealand yes, US. So Euro New Zealand is continue in his drop. Um, it's a nice consolidation over here. So I might be consider I want to see reaction normally because I'm starting with the forex Asian market, so the um, I like to see the American market open and then make my decision from there. All right. Then we got that on the New Zealand. Um, that was the Euro New Zealand, New Zealand yen, and it must be in the same boat as the other one. It's too complicated. It's too messy. We need to see something that it wants to be run at the moment. But look, candle is a candle, and that's all. New Zealand US would be the other one, which will be exactly the same as New Zealand yen. Normally they're sharing patterns and everything at all. Now it's coming here to quite interesting level of resistance. So we'll see what happened over there. So yeah, that was on Friday, something like that. It just market came very strong down, and there it is. It's going in that direction. All right. So after that, really, Canadian is the last one. Canadian yen will be the thing. Now, Canadian yen is really, really, really bad. We got a break, by the way. So, yeah, Friday was a pullback. If it was Friday, so yeah, I don't like these things over there. So I think with what happened with Russia and Ukraine, could things could be a bit So that's Canadian here. Could be a bit yeah, dangerous there. Then Euro Canadian, get over here, and Euro Canadian. There we are. Now, when we're looking, Euro Canadian has uh, actually where is the open? So this is the open. It went down. It has pulled back over here to the level. The weeklies are, you know, beautiful setup for all these weeks to come. The direction of the weekly, the market has pulled back. Canadian is a strong euro still. It's not much room to go. So remind that market can bounce from these levels. It already has bounced twice, so it can come again at that level over there. So Euro Canadian, and that's it. So already got into the short as the market came to the level over there, and it went the 10 pips down. So that's my stop loss. Here I have a invisible stop loss for the brokers. Uh, and the brokers can't see this one. They can see this and the terminals, but not that one. As I say, I'm just looking for something very, very maximum would be there. All right, so we'll have a look. And 141 pips. Look, if I got that one, then I don't trade the whole week. And that's it, my friends. That's all. I'm not too sure if I want to continue to do my YouTube videos. It seems like there's not many people interested at the moment, anyway. But at least I want to leave these ones running there so people can have an idea what is this Australia all about. Look, the one thing really for sure is always going to be is that if you look in here and you look, if you look in candle close direction, you will have a lot of hard time to identify the direction. You might find opportunities as the market, presents bearish and bullish, and you can go. But here is a different story. So what my thing is, I always looking for what I call a trend bar. Trend bar is something that it has, I just defined by trend lines, and when the candle breaks that trend lines, for me that is a changing of the trend. And from here, my only job and focus is two things: the market will do break from there, or the market is gonna come back to our levels like this one over there, and it does. So that's the trading range. If you trade in the daily time frame, that would be here should be the stop loss over there, and that would be your entry, whatever you want to do, and that it is. And after that, now, now if you say it's the weekly a trend direction, you clear, we can see that it's not. Because the market fell too close below to that trend line over there, and as you see, it's continue doing these things there. So every time I got trend lines like this one, and I see market like that, violating these trend lines, for me is an opportunity that start looking, towards there or towards here, and that it is so as the market tied up, market breaks, and that it is that the try. The weekly direction, there is no indicators that you will find it to tell anything unless you have something that it is again and again and again. And from that moment, you know, here all indicators will work. Anything that you want to be looking, no indicator will tell you this. It's just, and then the index comes over here. Normally look use all relate with Canadian because Canadian normally react to this price all the time. All right, so well, until sometime maybe later this year, I will. But I want to just leave this one. As I say, back testing is very easy. So this is a forward testing, looking the power of the weekly kind of close direction, and tell you if you practice that and you try that, you will not need all the gurus that is in the internet. You can do it yourself. You don't need a special. There you find an E8 or send make an E8 that you like it, entries, strategies, and it's very up to the person how would like the person to be. I wish you luck. Say goodbye. Maybe we'll see you next before the year finish. If we're still here, if there is no a nuclear activation, otherwise we see you in heaven. Okay. Take care, everyone, and have a blessed day. Cheers and bye.